Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Little Joe's first cooking show. Well, no, not really, but I will be talking about using hard-boiled egg yolks as a supplement for our parrots and why it is important. I'll also be doing a show and tell on safe preparation as I make a batch for my birds. I have been giving all my birds egg yolk on a regular basis for years now. It is a natural, affordable, and effective supplement. And as you can see, the birds love it, even my somewhat picky cockatiels. The green cheek condors, sun condors, quakers, and even the ringnecks eagerly take it when offered. Why is it needed? Now, in nature, parrots are omnivores. They will eat both plants and animals. A natural diet would have seeds, of course, and this would include nuts. Fruits are a favorite, along with flowers, insects, snails, fish, and even other birds. And of course, any and all eggs they might find. While they may not be great as predators, they will also eat carrion if they come across it. Meat, or the meat proteins, are an important part of a parrot's diet, something they will not get in seed, pellets, or chop. Proteins are important because they are the building blocks of muscle, bone, skin, and blood. It helps regulate blood sugar, creates antibodies, and supports the immune system. Without it, a parrot can become weak, put on too much weight, and just be more prone to getting sick. Egg yolks are an excellent and safe source of animal proteins, and much easier to give our birds. Now, not only are egg yolks a great source of animal proteins, they also have the B vitamins, fat-soluble vitamins such as A, D, E, and K, choline, calcium, phosphorus, zinc, magnesium, selenium, and the healthy fats, the omega-3 fatty acids. First off, the most common vitamin deficiencies, vitamin A and vitamin D. Vitamin A is the most common vitamin deficiency in pet parrots, and this one at least can be supplemented through feeding your parrots chop. Vitamin A deficiency can result in vision loss, skin issues, slow healing wounds, respiratory infections, anemia, painful joints, nausea, vomiting, and appetite loss. Many sick birds taken into vets are found to be seriously deficient in vitamin A. Vitamin D, on the other hand, is an animal product not found in seed or chop. Very few pet parrots get enough vitamin D naturally from sunlight, being inside most of the time, but it is essential in aiding the uptake of calcium. This is important for all parrots, but especially those who will, have, or are laying eggs. Without vitamin D, any calcium supplementation used will not be effective. A deficiency can also result in bone and muscle pain, fatigue, mood changes and weight gain, feather loss, and a lowered immune system, again making a parrot more prone to other illnesses. We are learning more about choline as well. Hopefully I did pronounce that right. It is a nutrient only recently discovered, recognized in 1998. It helps the brain and nervous system regulate mood and muscle control and is an essential nutrient for fetal brain development. Now, eggs are one of the most nutrient-dense foods there is. It is basically a battery, a fuel source that will turn a single fertilized cell into a baby bird. Contrary to old beliefs, eggs can improve the cholesterol profile and do not raise the risk of heart disease when fed in moderation. They are a high-quality animal protein with a perfect essential amino acid profile. You can also save the shells and use them as a calcium source. Best of all, they are very inexpensive, easy to prepare, and the parrots do love them. So, on to how to prepare egg yolks for our birds and how often to feed it. I will take you step by step through the way I cook and prepare egg yolks as I make this week's batch, although you might just have to scale down a little bit. I know that most people out there are very familiar with how to boil an egg, but some might not be aware of all the steps to make the eggs as safe as possible for our birds while making them easy to process. First, I start off with some fresh eggs. Now, most of these are for the birds, but a few will be for myself and my pups. My birds are pretty much done with egg laying for the season, so I'm making these smaller batches of eggs for now. Put them carefully in a pot large enough to hold the eggs, along with enough water to cover them by a couple of inches. I put them on the stove and bring them to a good rolling boil. Some people will say to boil the water first and then add the eggs, but this way is safer for me. I don't run the risk of hot water splashing all over, and this way I don't have to pierce the eggshells to prevent cracking. I put 20 minutes on the timer and back off on the heat and just let them cook. Yes, you can hard boil eggs in much less time than this, but to eliminate the risk from salmonella, I always do 20 minutes. You want good firm egg yolks cooked all the way through, and the extra time will do no harm and it is safer. I am sure we have all heard the salmonella recalls on eggs, but a temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit will kill salmonella bacteria. And when boiled this way, the eggs will reach 212 degrees Fahrenheit for much longer than the minimum recommended time to kill any bacteria. This is also good for sterilizing the eggshells, which we will use again later, after another sterilization. After 20 minutes, you can take the eggs off the heat and put the pot in the sink to fill the rest of the way with water. This will begin to stop the cooking process and cool the boiling water a bit, making it safer to drain. Once completely drained of water, fill the pot back up as high as it will go with cold, not warm, water. Doing this cools down the eggs enough to handle easily, and makes it much easier to remove the egg yolk. If you're only cooking a few eggs, this cooling will only take a few minutes. For me here, it takes about 10 minutes. Once again, drain the eggs, and if they are cool enough to handle, we can begin separating. Separating the yolk is easy. All you have to do is give the egg a hack straight across the middle, pull it apart, and let the yolks drop out. Depending on the freshness of the egg and how it was cooked and cooled, you might have to do a little scooping. Yolks go in one bowl, and the shells and whites in another for further processing. Of course, we have to give our friends a treat here. A little bit for my supervisor. And here comes my quality control officer. Treat. And don't forget to wash your hands if you touch your dogs while you're cooking. Now, it is best to work quick at this stage. The birds do like it best when the yolks are still nice and fresh and warm. Next, we mash up the yolks well. You can use a ricer, a potato masher, or even a fork. You can give them a good stir to make sure that they are nice and fluffy and crumbly. Now is a good point to check that they are firm and cooked all the way through. Any soft or runny spots might still have the risk of viable bacteria being present. Then to serve it up. Best done in stainless steel or glass bowls. Plastic can harbor bacteria and it can be hard to get the egg smell out. The smaller bowls here I will give to my smaller birds, the budgies, loveys, linneys, and parrotlets, and the larger will go to the cockatiels, condors, quakers, and ringnecks. I feed the eggs about once every 7 to 10 days before and after breeding, and every 14 to 18 days the rest of the year. You can give it all at once like this, as I do, but some people like giving them a much smaller portion every day or second day. Fat-soluble vitamins stay in the bird system for 2 to 3 weeks, so periodic feedings are just fine. You do not want to give them too much, though, as it is high in calories, and not to any birds that might be chronic egg layers, as it is a stimulant. And will the parrots eat it? Oh yeah. Cockatiels especially love this, as do the conners, sun conners, ringnecks, and quakers. Lovebirds and ladies will take smaller amounts, but the ever-hungry budgies will clean out their bowl in minutes. Remove any leftovers within 12 hours just to be safe. The eggshells are a great source of calcium and can most definitely be used as well. Removing the shells from the whites is the most laborious part of the whole process. You just have to take a spoon and scoop out the whites. The whites I do discard, for while they do have protein, they are 90% water and do not have any of the vitamins found in the yolks. I take the extra precaution of baking the eggshells to sterilize them again, and I have heard that doing this could also increase the bioavailability of the calcium. To bake the shells, I line a tray with parchment paper, or I would if I had some. Time for a new roll. Never easy to open, but I will eventually line the tray with parchment paper, then bake them in the oven at 425 degrees, which is about as high as you can go when using parchment paper. I let them bake for about half an hour, more than long enough to kill any bacteria that might have gotten onto the shells. When done, you can take them out of the oven. Careful, they're hot. And let them cool before crushing them. How you crush them does not really matter. Here you can have a little fun. I start by breaking them down with my hands, and then you can use a pestle or a potato masher. If you have one, the fastest way is to use a food processor. I like to leave recognizable pieces, but they can also be ground to a dust or anywhere in between. This batch I am going to include in the next batch of chop that I'm making later on this week. And they can also be served in a separate bowl and left inside a parrot's cage to allow them to self-regulate their own calcium intake. Just be sure to also offer them a mineral block, a cuttle bone if you can find one, and other calcium sources like crushed oyster shell. To conclude, egg yolks are a great natural source of the vitamins and nutrients a parrot needs. Some, like vitamin D, are very hard to find anywhere else, but are crucial for good health. They are one of the few sources of animal protein that is safe to feed our birds, and by far the easiest to use. Fed in proper amounts, they are also a great treat, keeping our birds healthy and happy at the same time. Thank you all for watching, and keep an eye out for the next Little Joe's cooking show coming soon. Here, we'll go into all the benefits of feeding chop, fresh chop. It will have my full chop recipe, and show me making one of my full batches, about 300 pounds. Until next time.